Robbie leaves the radius of the street lamp, entering the darkness again. Oh my god, I really don't want to read this. So back in 2017, I started writing my very first feature-length screenplay, and it's called Breaks. A drama set in a fictional town called Maple Ridge about a recluse mechanic who finds an unexpected friendship in a traveling astronomer. I wrote this script from March 2017 to January 2018. So from conceptualization to printing it at Officeworks, I spent about 9 to 10 months writing it. I had never written a feature-length screenplay before. This was a huge challenge, but I learned some very important life lessons and career lessons from this, and here are my 10. Your first project is most likely gonna suck, and that is okay. It is all a learning experience. Just know that you're gonna get stronger every time. A house cannot withstand the storm if it has a weak foundation. The lessons that you learn from that first project, those are the building blocks of your foundation. Don't think of your project as a test run. Go into it as if it's the real thing. Remember that it's not just your time and your energy and resources, it's everyone else's time and energy and resources. Whether it's your first song, your first dance performance, your first acting gig, your first screenplay, your first business, your first relationship, your first anything. It's all a learning experience. Don't beat yourself up for making too many mistakes. The thing about attempting your first try on anything major is that you need to have incredible self-forgiveness. You must forgive yourself. It's about taking a step back and being like, yeah, I did the best I could on my first try and I can get better. Now, the key word here isn't better, it's I can. Stick with it. It's really important that you show up every day, be persistent and be consistent. Like I said before, it took me about 10 months to complete this story, and I wouldn't have completed it if I didn't have the persistence. You must be persistent with what you choose to set out to do. It really is a confidence booster. Send them samples, send them the full thing if you want, just as long as you get their honest feedback. Even from those who aren't in the profession or the industry you're in. It is integral that you get a very diverse set of eyes on your project. This ensures that you'll get a more rounded perspective. Third-party outsider opinions carry just as much validity. Literally, social and emotional distancing. Say you're hanging out with a mate, right? And then you guys are chatting and so, but then they don't ask you how you're doing on your project. Now that's a bit sus. This could mean a variety of things. Their minds could be extremely busy with certain things, so you need to give them that leverage. Or unfortunately, they could just not be invested enough in how you're doing on your project. Now, this is a rocky area because some people like to talk about themselves a lot, and some people are just like keen listeners. If one of your loved ones or mates snaps at you for procrastinating or calls you out for being lazy, keep them in your circle because they are holding you accountable. These kinds of friends are incredibly important to have. Friends that keep you accountable are extremely rare because they are constantly having your best interests in mind. I personally believe that a friend who holds you accountable is one of the most undervalued forms of love that exists. Create mock-ups, create samples, create designs, get a sense of the look and the feel of the project. When I was writing Breaks, I created these mock-up posters, which were like terrible, but I was really glad that I did them because I was able to visualize how it would look. Visualize can also be around the sounds. When I would write scenes, I would imagine certain songs and film scores. It's a weird kind of thing. I did this really lame thing where I created this playlist. It's the soundtrack for Breaks. 12 songs that I visualized or imagined the film would have. On my morning and evening drives to work, I would always be listening to the soundtrack. I would always be listening to the same songs. Like every morning and every evening, I would listen to the same playlist, this soundtrack of this fictional movie that I've made up in my head. Separate yourself from all the noise. Get rid of all the distractions. If you have to physically move yourself from one room to another, then do so. When I was writing breaks, I could have gone straight home and attempted to write at home, but no, I chose to stay in Birkenhead Point, in the building that I was working in. And I went down to the food court, and this was after hours. This was like 5:30, 6 o'clock, so it was quite empty, except for the cleaners. Thank goodness for them not kicking me out. At home, I've got all these distractions. I've got my DVDs, I've got my movies, I've got my TV shows, had my PS3 at the time, I had computer games. Like, all these distractions and temptations would be pulling me away from my mission, from my objective of showing up. I needed to show up. I had to show up every day. I had to show up. If your phone is distracting you, move your phone to the next room. When this lockdown is over, I'm going to go straight back to the cafe and get back to writing yesterday's romance, because I find it hard to write at home because of all these distractions, and my willpower sucks, so. I can admit that on camera. Organize your ideas into one place. So when I was working on breaks, I had all these pages and documents everywhere, just lying in different places in my room, and I needed to keep them all categorized and sorted into one designated place, so I knew where everything was. Time and attention are your two most valuable resources. You don't want to spend too much time looking for things. You need to keep them all in one place. Is there something like this that already exists in the current market? If the answer is yes, how can you find ways to make your product, good or service or project different from anything else that exists? What's gonna make what you do stand out? What's your unique selling point? If your project or whatever you're doing is the first of its kind, that is amazing, because you can put it out there and see what the world has to say. If the world rejects it, it's okay. Just keep working on it, keep improving it until it gets to that point where what you have built is absolutely fucking undeniable. Be passionate, be passionate, be passionate. Love what you're doing, love the process, love the hardship, have faith in the project. Now, in order to have faith in the project or whatever it is you're creating, you must have faith in yourself. It is fundamental that you have that faith in yourself, that you'll be able to create this project. Resistance. You must resist resistance. You must fight the resistance. Resistance appears in many forms. Resistance appears in the form of procrastination. Resistance appears in the form of intrusive thoughts telling you that you can't do this. You're not talented enough to do this. You don't have the work ethic to do this. This is resistance. It is your job as an artist, it is your job as a writer, it is your job as an entrepreneur to resist resistance and do the work and show up. So anyway, those are my 10 life and career lessons for you to take away. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon.